Welcome back, you guys. I am really excited to decorate my house for Halloween, just like bonkers excited. And yet I put it off until like a week before Halloween. I really wanted to do this at the start of the month, but I simply just couldn't. I was very stuck in my couch. I was struggling with being able to do basically anything. And so here we are, a little bit before Halloween, but we're getting it done. And I'm so glad that I did. Now, I have that huge gray tote and then the two clear totes that I'm opening up. I like to pull all of my decor out so I can, one, remember what I have, and then like you can see it all. That way I'm not putting up a bin and then opening and being like, crap, and then I have to move everything to put something else back. You know what I mean? So I have these three tubs and I'm thinking to myself, Elizabeth, Beth, because sometimes I'm formal, sometimes I'm informal, but Beth, you have way too many Halloweeny thingies. I scare the F out of myself with that stupid mask. Scare the F out of myself. It's spooky. Okay, so but this gray bin has some like Thanksgiving-y fall. That's a real word. Fall decor. So I have, it's insane. Yes, I know. I have my late summer bleeding into fall decor that I use. And then I have my early fall decor that has more of the sunflower stuff. Then we switch over to Halloween, which is kind of a hard pivot. Then I have fall stuff, like deep fall. And then we go hard pivot to Christmas. So this tub, I still have a very reasonable amount of Halloween stuff because this tub is also deep fall. Cool. Except also, I know I'm missing Halloween decorations. And I'm like, where are they? Because I know that I have red candles that I want, and that's going to send me on this misadventure adventure. I don't know, maybe it's a misadventure. So I'm looking and I'm like, wait, where are my candles? No, just kidding. I'm looking around and I go, let's put the fall stuff in with the deep fall stuff. That way it's all together and I can just bring this bin back downstairs when I'm ready to take down all of Halloween, which I will do the day after Halloween. I do not like leaving my decor up, like a holiday specific decor, past the holiday. It feels weird. Okay, then I go upstairs and I find my other bins of Halloween stuff. And now I feel like it's an insane amount of Halloween stuff. Maybe you have too much Halloween decor, Beth. But fortunately, when I opened this gray bin, it is mostly outdoor items. So now I feel better. Like my indoor items, it's excessive, but this is outdoor stuff, guys. That doesn't even count because it's outside my house. I'm not going to see it. So the only holiday that I care about leaving, like I let my decor stay up longer, is Christmas. I try to get to the end of December and then switch everything over January 1st because that makes me happy. Even then, it's a struggle. Like towards the end of December, I'm like, I just want this stuff up and out. I certainly can't because I'm the best Catholic that ever did Catholic. I can't wait until like January 12th to take everything down. I can't. It's too, I can't do it. So, but traditionally, like the 12 days of Christmas, like you're supposed to be sad and everything like that. Like you're not leading into Christmas full of joy and everything like that. Like you're sad and somber and fasting and doing all that crap. And then Christmas comes and then you celebrate for 12 days. The 12 days of Christmas are not the 12 days leading up to Christmas. It is the 12 days after Christmas. But for some reason, we all decided collectively that that was crap. And we were going to have a great time in the beginning of December and do all of our feasting and joyous, momentous things. And then come New Year, that's when we like punish ourselves and we have to join a gym and we have to start dieting and we have to start journaling. Or we're going to drink more water and maybe I'll take more steps this year. And you know, that stuff. Like we flip-flopped it. And honestly, it feels better. I don't know what to say. It's just better that way. I can't wait for New Year, New Me. I'm going to change everything about me and it's going to be a brand new year. Just like this year was supposed to be. And here I am. Okay. So I love these spiders and I'm putting them up, but next time I think I'm going to zoom in more for this shot. I have been thinking that I should have the whole wide shot of everything I put up on my shelving around my TV. But now I'm like, maybe I should have closer shots. And I think I'm going to do that for Christmas. Just wait, it'll be way more artsy fartsy. Okay, so the other night I was reading Instagram and somebody had a post up that said you can't teach an old butt new farts. And I don't know why that was so funny to me. I laughed so hard. The end of that story. You're welcome. Okay, so I get this stuff up and then I put up my wedding photos of Mark and I of when we're dead. And then these candles, I love these candles. They're like LED flickery candles, battery operated is what I was trying to say. All the batteries died while they were in storage. That's pleasant. And I bought the red ones. Now, I have deep regret. I wanted it to be like blood red for Halloween, but also somehow pull off a Christmas vibe. And I have to switch out all of the batteries, but that's fine. But the candle themselves dye my hands and I can transfer the dye. I remember last year I had the candles out first and then I put my hand on the wall a few times to brace myself and I left red fingerprints all over my wall. So this time I am trying so hard not to touch my shirt for one, but like not really touch anything. I didn't cough. That's fine. But not really touch anything after that. And I'm also trying not to break my nails opening up the candle base things to switch out the batteries because I have an old set of acrylics on and they're a little too long and that makes them really fragile. So I get a butter knife out of my kitchen and I start using that. Later when I go back in the kitchen, I discover I just full on close the drawer with my hand and I have like 4 really solid fingerprints in red on the drawer, and it is super not easy to wipe off. And I was sad. I do love this garland. I let it flash between purple and orange. And last night I was watching it. I'm just really trying to wait out the purple until the orange comes back into play. And so I just switch it to straight orange. It turns out orange is the color I want. I'm not really that interested in purple. And I do after this, when sitting on the couch contemplating the orangey purpleness of it all, I had to switch out one set of batteries and I didn't switch out the other. And you can tell it's like so much more dim, like really, really, really dim that I'm like, oh, okay, I need to change out the batteries to give it more power. Now they do look a lot more balanced. Didn't start sneezing either. Just so you guys know, none of those things are happening. Did not think I was going to struggle this much. And what I love is that I don't notice that every time I move the branches, it pulls the spider web thing. And look at how off center the spider web stuff is. Didn't notice that until last night either. This castle has little LED flameless candle thingies in there too. Also, all of them are dead. I had to switch batteries out of literally everything that was battery operated. Those candles, those garlands. I need to get new candles for the castle. And then I have floating candles, which I absolutely love. I love them so much. I have 28 of them. I know because I counted way too many times. And I did end up ordering more. I said I wasn't going to buy more Halloween stuff. And that's not my fault. Like, I just need a few more candles. You'll see when I show you the candle situation. I just need to fill out a few spots. But I had to swap out every single one of those batteries, and I had to rethread every single one of the candles with not fishing line, because I bought it at a craft store, not a fishing store. It's fishing line. So I had to do that. It took so long. I was absolutely bummed the F out, but it works later. So now I'm mad because I have to touch the candles yet again and wash my hands yet again. But I know I want to move. Move the candles a few more times. So I'm like, okay, go wash your hands and then come back and then wash your hands. And then I kept dropping stuff. That sign right there says, frick, I completely forgot. Like maybe something wicked this way comes, or I cast a spell on you or something like that. So I put my Harry Potter wands. We have several Harry Potter wands right next to it, and it makes me super duper happy. Okay. And also, yes, I do feel like the spiders kind of make that side a little bit offset, but in real life, it doesn't look as terrible. When I put this skull up there, it looked weird on the ground, so I had to find stuff to try to put under it to prop it up a little bit. The first thing I tried, these are tissues, not super productive, and I was like, "No, I need something hard." And I got a can of cat food, and it's the exact size for it, and I just think that looks way better. And I am so excited about this. Like, I have the energy. I'm going to get this done. Another thing I want to talk about is a few people have been mentioning, like, oh, Beth, you're back to washing your dishes. Yes, before I wash my dishes, like pre washing my dishes, hand washing them before I put them in the dishwasher. Yes, it turns out that is an immense litmus test for where my anxiety is. And I am in a very high anxiety state. When I came back and I filmed my last video of me pretending to unpack my bag from Vid Summit, which, by the way, my suitcase is still in my bedroom. I got as much done as I got for that video and then gave up on life. A lot of you guys had commented that it seemed like Vid Summit really got to my self-esteem, that it really shook me, that I seemed off by a lot. And that wasn't it. It was not Vid Summit. So I came home from Vid Summit. My flight was delayed because I flew through freaking Atlanta airport. And if your flight's not delayed 3 times, are you even in Atlanta? So my flight was delayed, which sucked because I came home and I had about 30 hours with my husband. And then he left for 2 weeks doing stuff that's not exactly the best, right? But that's all I'm going to say on that. So he left and he was doing big boy work out of town. And so I was like facing down solo parenting for 2 weeks, which isn't terrible because my kids are much older, but it is a different level of burden, like being the only adult. Also, if somebody broke in my house and murdered me, I am the adult that fights them off. I hate that idea. That's why I need my husband buffer. If Mark died, I would get married later that day. I just would. I need a husband buffer. I just do. I had to take the trash out to the curb, which is against the Geneva Conventions. I'm sure of it. I like specifically in there, it says Beth shouldn't have to take the trash to the curb. That is terrible. But I did twice. I made Calvin help me. Also, there's like some dude who just runs through all of the yards of our neighborhood, but nobody knows who he is. And everybody's like, have you guys seen this guy? He's not jogging. I'm not saying he's going for a run. And he is not on the sidewalk. He's not in the street. He's going through everybody's yards, like running, like evading. And we're like, is he sleeping in an abandoned house? Is that what's happening? And like, he's always wearing the same outfit. And what the hell is that about, right? And so I saw him sprinting through a neighbor's yard when I was taking the trash out. And I was like, awesome. Super excited about that. And so, yes, I was frazzled. I was in a high anxiety state. I did feel off my game, but it had nothing to do with VidSummit. VidSummit actually made me feel very full of myself and snobbish because I was looking at those stats being like, I am thriving. But I came home and I was just missing my husband. I miss him. And I know a lot of people are like, all the women independent. I don't need no man. You know, men are trash. I am not like that. I love my husband so much. I love having a partnership. I think we complement each other quite a bit. He actually makes the majority of the dinners. So then I had to actually like make dinners. That was stupid. And that's what it was. I was thrown off my game because I wasn't going to see my husband most of October. And I wasn't looking forward to it. And so luckily, that has passed. I have my house very nicely decorated for him, and he'll be home later tonight. And I cannot wait to have a good night's sleep, knowing that if somebody breaks in to murder me, he has to fight my husband first. And that's all you can really ask for, right? So we wash our dishes before we put our dishes in the dishwasher. That's fine. We will hopefully improve. What happened here, I was considering not doing it, but when I emptied the dishwasher, I pulled out the silverware. One of the forks had a little bit of leftover like artichoke heart on it, and that could not be tolerated. I creeped myself out. I had to hand wash all of the silverware, but I did have the thought, but I didn't do it, to go get all of the dishes that I had put away and try to hand wash them and rewash them. But instead I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. I am sure they're not going to poison us. Also, I got really concerned about like dyeing my daughter's wig. I was worried that like the stainless steel pot would become poisonous. Like it's just, my high anxiety is not fun. So I was trying to convince myself we wouldn't get poisoned if we ate from the dishes. And if it had visible food residue, we would just simply not use that dish. Right? Like if I looked in the coffee mug and there was leftover cinnamon that had adhered to the mug, I could put that mug in the sink and get a different one for my coffee. Like it wasn't, I don't know. Anxiety is not rational. It's just persistent. So that is something I was holding in and I wanted to tell you guys. And that is the story of Elizabeth's anxiety. Now, here are the candles. I fortunately did not film me replacing all of the batteries and rethreading them because it took 1 freaking billion years. It took like an hour and a half, I think, to get them all done. And for some, I don't know if next year, because they all tangled like crazy and I have to replace the sticky that I put them up on. And so I think I'm just going to have to do that again next year. The rethreading and everything like that. But I didn't measure the length of how long they need to be. So I cut them in various lengths so that they hang at various lengths. That's the reason for that. But some of them are aggressively long. Like my short ones aren't all that short. I guess I figured I was doing like cathedral ceilings and I don't know how I was going to do that, but they're way too long. And so I have to adjust some of them. I have to okay, so the fishing line, there is a hole in the top of the candle flame, if you will. And so you thread the fishing line through the tip of the candle flame out the bottom of it, and you pull the fishing line out a little bit and you put the flame back in the candle and that pinches the fishing line. So that's how they hang. Now, they look tacky here because all of my lights are on. I put all of my lights on so that there would be better lighting for this, which I actually really regret with this angle, but I'm not going to go back in time and fix that for you. I'm sorry. But when the lights aren't shining on the fishing line, it looks incredible. I love these. I think I'm going to keep them up past Christmas because I feel like the floating candles, I'll just be like Harry Potter's, Hogwarts, if you will. Not Harry Potter's house. I don't know what kind of candles they had there because, first of all, he lived with a few muggles for a long time. Oh, also, let's talk about Horcruxes in a second. So they had like electricity. I'm sure they have electricity, right? Not everything is candlelit in the witching wizarding world, right? I have to go back. It doesn't matter. Mark rewatches every single one of the movies during the Christmas season anyways, like starting in Halloween to Christmas, we're watching Harry Potter. That's what we get to watch. So I'll watch again. I feel like they have electricity, but now I'm really doubtful. Also, is fire a problem for them? Or is it essentially magical flameless candles? Like, are their flames fake flames and so nothing catches on fire? Or are they just like, it's fine, it's floating in the air, nothing's going to happen to us? Like, do they worry specifically in Hogwarts? Because that is a very old castle. I bet that wood is really dry and ready to go. Like, wood and stone. Because like in medieval times, fire was a very real threat. They had people stay awake just to sniff out some fire. The rich people, like kings and queens, right? The regulars were just trying not to get the plague. I don't know that they cared so much about fire. They were tired from plowing the fields by hand or whatever. Okay, so Horcruxes. Did you guys hear the theory that the reason the Dursleys were so mean to Harry Potter is because Harry Potter was spoilers, if for some reason if you've been in a coma for 25 years, pause here, go watch all of Harry Potter / read the books, and then come back. But the reason the Dursleys were so mean to him is because Harry Potter was a Horcrux, and like that makes people evil. Just like what's her butt, the principal, also spoilers, why she was so terrible and like physically punished the kids is because she was wearing a Horcrux around her neck. Like maybe she wasn't going to be that terrible, but she was wearing it. And is that it? That's all the wearable. Like nobody else really wore one. Maybe. I don't know. Well, yes. Okay. I understand that someone put on a ring and that why am I trying to not spoilers? I spoiled so much of it. But like, anyways, ... the end of that story. But I heard that and I was like, I never considered it when I was reading the books. Like at the end of the book being like, that's why they were so cruel, so terrible, horrible people. Because if you were living with a Horcrux, you'd kind of be an asshole too. Right? Anyway, so I sped this up 1,000,000,000% to have my floating flameless candles because I am a muggle and I have to use fishing line to make them float. And the way I cannot describe how much better all of this looks in person. It's just so much better in person. I'm sorry that you guys have to see it through a crappy camera, but it would be weird to arrange tours of my house. But I would. So that's fun. What else do you guys want to talk about? I brought back these things. I love stuffing stuff inside of here and I am delighted. But for some reason, I thought that all of these giant ornaments fit into these things. But look, okay, so only 3 of the hugies go in. Bummer. But look at how cute that looks. I feel like that looks really, really good. And then only 2 of the tinies. So I put them in like this. And when I move them over to put them where they're supposed to go, I realized that the smaller ones are jack-o'-lantern globes. And I put the orange one on the bottom where the orange one of the giant jack-o'-lantern globe is. So I switch them so it looks a little bit more balanced. And then I'm like, where the hell did these go? I don't even know. Last year, I had one of the cobweb, like that I have on the mantle off balance over there, the cobweb thing. But it is clearly straight on one side and then like cobwebby on the other side. So it looked kind of stupid on my counter and that really bothered me last year. And so now this year, I'm going to try this little death shroudy black thing netting. And I'm not going to put my wooden board back. I don't know if that's going to bother me or not. But if I have these little display platters out, I guess it's not going to bother me too much. I don't know. It's just in my closet of doom. My pillow closet of doom was absolutely ravaged because that turns out that's where my red candles were placed because I can't keep them with my Halloween stuff. I use them for Christmas. And I tore apart that closet. I pulled almost everything out of it to find the candles and a couple of throw pillows. And then I just stuffed everything back in, trying to get it to fit. So we're going to need to organize that again. And then we have to get to the closet, the abandoned closet of nothingness that I've never opened on camera. And also, I think this week I'm going to redo the cushions. I think I'm ready for it. It's bothering me beyond belief that they are so disgustingly stained. And I think this is going to be the week. I'm going to just go get the fabric and take a whack at it because it needs to be done before Thanksgiving when we're hosting. And like October's almost over, so we got to get it done. I think I'm going to do it this week. Especially because I think we did get paid. But I've heard rumors that we could get paid our next due paycheck too. So I can get some cloth and a staple gun, I think. Do you think I'll need more fabric-y stuff? Like, what is that? Batting? Is it called batting? to stuff it, or do you think I can just go over the top of whatever's there for the chairs. It's the bench that I don't know about because it has those metal little dotties. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Also, I fought with the spider legs of this so badly. I think I purchased this spider and a couple other spiders. And the thing that scared me, I purchased those on clearance last year and then just packed them away with the rest of my stuff so I could get surprised by it this year. And I put in the Discord that I was like, I have way too many Halloween stuff. And Mary, my personal assistant, she was like, yeah. And then you bought more last year to surprise yourself with on clearance. You had too much last year and then you bought more. And I was like, oh, I love that for me. But luckily I did, because otherwise this year we're not getting paid. Well, we're getting paid is up in the air sometimes. So I already pre-purchased my stuff. So yay. But also, yeah, I did buy the candles. I used my Amazon, like spare Amazon cash for it, and it was $28. So I guess like $1 a candle, or it was $23. I don't know, but it was a set of 28, and they'll come in and I'm going to get really annoyed and thread them with my fishing line and put them in the kitchen, over the island, over the table, and then the school area, because it's so well filled out in my entryway that it makes it look a little sparse in the other zones. Whereas last year I only put it in the kitchen, dining room, living area space, and none in the hallway. So long story short, pretty excited about this. I have extra pillows that I could have stuffed, but pillow covers. I have a set of 4, but I stopped at 2 because it's just a bit much. I'm pretty not frustrated, like, because I'm really enjoying the decorating of it, but I'm kind of like also over it because I started so late and it was going so late into the evening. The threading of the candles and all that, it took a lot longer than I thought. So it's closer to 5 p.m. I think I finish at 6 p.m. and I'm just like, well, sucky. And I do phone it in for this area and I just cover everything with the shroudy, whatever this is. What is this, you guys? Like, it reminds me kind of a death shroud. And kind of a bummer, I cut little holes in it to where it looked really worn last time. But it's just a black cloth. I don't know. But it looks better in real life because then again, it's not as see-through-y as it is on camera. You notice it more in real life. So one of the discount spiders I bought fills out this space pretty nicely. Bingo, bango. Just a little sign and done there. I really am coming around on having this little wall hanging thing there, even though I was over it before. I do like being able to hang the happy haunting on it. And then this is the thing that I didn't put on my kitchen counter. I have 2 of these. But I think it looks really cute. Look at this. Well, I had a hard time getting it to stick. But look at this. I think it's cute, right? I don't know, maybe. Like, it looks weird because everything's so bright, but it looks, and you'll see in the final result, it's fine. And now all I have to do is get the back of my kitchen clean so that it doesn't look disgusting on my final result walkthrough. I mean, because I could have been like, everybody pretend I don't have a back island, but I also wanted it done. That way I could have just been like, comfortable and sit down, and my house is mostly clean, not my bedroom, bathroom, but when my husband gets home, it's a mostly clean, organized home, and I think that will feel good for him after being away for 2 weeks. I bet it would feel really good to have a nice, clean bedroom, but that's not happening for him. He's just going to have to close his eyes and make believe, and that's fine. I am going to actually put the duvet back on my comforter. I took it off 2 weeks ago, like right after I got home, I took it off. And since I haven't had to make the bed fully because I'm the only person sleeping in it and I sleep with a Blankie Supremo, just my own personal blanket, everything has just been piled up on his side of the bed. And I'm just like, best wishes. So yes, the bed will be made. I'm not putting my suitcase anywhere. I did kind of tidy my bathroom, and I took some of the empty shampoo bottles out of my shower. Forgot the word shower. Pretty proud of that. I emptied the trash and I cleaned the toilets in the bathroom. And I do think I'm going to get my vacuum and just like wander vacuum my house today because there's a few tufts of hair. And I didn't really feel like doing my floors when I was redecorating. Like I just didn't have it in me to also really, really deep clean and put out my decor. And I had done a full clean a little bit ago. So like I felt like it was okay not to mop, but I definitely need to go through and vacuum and get some of the tufts of hair, the sweet potato's hairs. Also, Sweet Potato thinks the floating candles are the craziest thing she's ever seen. And so she lays on the floor and stares at the ceiling now to just be like, what's going on? What is that? I do wash the majority of my big dishes, but because the dishes in the dishwasher had just finished, actually I opened it before it was completely finished and had to let it finish. They were too hot for my kids to put them away, and I was too impatient to just like let it happen. So I washed the big dishes, and then we are playing the game. All the dishes in the sink don't count, and I'm fine with that. My chair is so squeaky. Have you guys been hearing it squeak this whole time? Sorry. Okay, we are so close to being done. All we have to do is pick up trash with our feet and wipe down the counters. The stove definitely had like a piece of pasta cook onto it, so that was a little bit harder to clean off. I got it done though. Like eventually I have to go get the scrapey thingy because there was just no way I was going to force it off with my hands. And I'm still really nervous about like snapping half of a nail off. I'm going to go on Monday and get this set of nails soaked off and get a new set put on. But that was not for today. Okay. Towards the very end, also, I don't know if you guys could tell, but Leroy was wearing his handsome gentleman sweater. I think I take it off of him in the middle of this because it doesn't look Halloween-y enough for me. And I think I might have to get him like a little Halloween sweater. Mayhap. Okay, so we are done with this zone. And I take you with me. All I have to do without you guys is put these things away. And this is what it looks like. I tried to do the dimmy lights so you could get the better vibe of the candles. And also I lit all of my physical candles, and it turns out I definitely need to trim some of the wicks. But I just wish, I wish you guys could all come into my house. And I wish everybody would come into my house right now because like it looks so awesome. It looks so cool, so spooky. It made me so happy. Right after this, I ordered pizza and I sat and I listened to my like audio thing. I was listening to true crime and I ate pizza and I loved it. And I love you. Bye.